Why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Addison Soerensen. I am currently attending college at the University of Arkansas. I served as the International Central Region Vice President for the Executive Council for 2020 through 2021. I am currently a nursing major and hopes to becoming a nurse practitioner.
Awesome. How did you hear about HOSA?
I was actually a sophomore in high school when I heard first about HOSA. I joined a career tech education school called Francis Tuttle back in Oklahoma. And through that, they offered, like, they said, "Oh, we're wanting positions for HOSA." And I was like, "What's HOSA?" So then they described what HOSA was, and I was like, "I want to get involved in that." Since I knew I wanted to be a nurse, I was like, "I have to get involved." And so I went through the whole process of going through elections for my first year, and I actually got first year representative for my local HOSA chapter. And then the next year, I ran for vice president of my local chapter, so then I could run for Oklahoma state officer. And fortunately, I was able to become chaplain of Oklahoma State HOSA. So that was really exciting and fun. And so just through like Francis Tuttle opening the door for me to even go through their pre-nursing program, and then through that nursing program, they introduced HOSA, which was like the starter for my whole career, basically.
That's awesome. What would you say was the biggest motivation to run for the National Executive Council?
I think my biggest motivation was my advisor at the beginning because she got to decide ultimately who was going to run for executive council from our state council. And so she came up to me and she was like, "I see something in you. Do you want to run for executive council?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And this was pre COVID. Like, this was right before COVID hit. So I really didn't know what I was going to get myself into. And so we started like one day of training, and then COVID hit, and I had to go all online for training. And literally, I went all summer, all of the rest of school, just training online with my advisors and with my council, doing interviews. And just like my passion grew through my dedication to those hours and hours of studying. And it just really like lit a fire under me to do my best for the interview process and for the election, because I really wanted to become like someone in that leadership position that could make smaller chapters heard. And that was kind of my whole thing with running. I wanted to make sure everybody was heard and treated equally, whatever state or whatever chapter you're from, which I thought was very cool. And then I unfortunately had an all online term, but it turned out to be one of those experiences that I could have had.
That's awesome. What would you say? What did you get the most out of your experience as a national officer?
I think the one thing that I really took away from it was the ability to come together and connect in different ways, not just with the members, but with the whole council. We just stayed on Zoom through the entire term until our Florida trip. And so I think just the art of like connecting through something like HOSA was really cool because we all came from different places, and I got to meet so many people that I wouldn't have met before if it wasn't for online like that year, which was really exciting for me because I got to meet China HOSA, which I was really excited about. It was really exciting. And so just like the opportunity to connect in a different way than what we normally had was one thing that I am still doing to this day. I still reach out to people. I'm still having conversations with people over Zoom, over phone calls, over FaceTimes. And so just that, and also the ability, I learned a lot of my leadership ability through that, my term. And so I just saw something in me that I didn't know was there, that the executive council helped me realize after Florida, after the ILC, which was really exciting because now I'm really just looking forward to my next step in HOSA through my college career.
Right. Yeah. I would say the best thing that I've experienced in HOSA is just the ability to connect with so many different people. So just going off of that, how did HOSA help you in your college experience so far?
Yeah, so I my term went into my freshman year of college, which at first I was like, I don't want to do that. That's so scary. But then online helped that, but also just the ability to like be flexible with my schedule really helped. And I stayed in contact with so many people even after my term. And I'm actually in the work at the University of Arkansas of creating a HOSA chapter here, a collegiate chapter. So I'm really excited about that. But that's still in the works. It takes a lot, but I am excited for it because I'm reaching out to old council members, my old advisors for help. And that's also something that HOSA has given me is those connections, those outreach outlets for me, like to connect with other people that started collegiate chapters at other schools. And so I just think that's really cool that we can all still go to college, but still have HOSA and have that foundation that a lot of us have grown up on. And so I think that's really, yeah.
Awesome. What advice would you give to young HOSA leaders?
My number one piece of advice for young HOSA members is keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. I know it may not seem, at least at the younger age, that HOSA is going to do a lot for you, but it will. In the end, there's always something that HOSA can do for them. And I just think HOSA is a really unique way to get involved in different healthcare fields. Even if you're not wanting to go into healthcare, you can find out that you don't want to go through healthcare through HOSA. And so my advice is just to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. You're going into a great profession no matter what you do, especially in healthcare. And HOSA is just a stepping stone for you to ultimately reach your end goal, which is to be a future health professional, to be someone who's helping other people, being on that front line. So just knowing your end goal is to be there for other people and help other people. That's at least what kept me going when I wanted to give up, when I wanted to quit doing Zoom trainings for EC Council. Like I wanted to quit so many times, but I just kept going because I was like, I want to help HOSA members. I want to help other kids that want to be in health professions. And ultimately, I want to help people when I'm in my profession. So
That's awesome. And just to like tie up our conversation of leadership, what is the most important aspect of leadership to you?
I think the most important aspect of leadership is really understanding your role as the leader. And what I mean by that is, yes, we are the not top leaders, but you know what I mean. Like, we're the leaders that people are looking for advice and all that, but we shouldn't be like boasting about that. We shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm on top, like ha ha ha. We should be coming kind of down. We just shouldn't have a high horse. I really gives us the experience to connect with everybody, to learn from everybody. And so I think the number one thing is just because you're in a leadership position doesn't mean you know everything. And you can come down and learn from everybody and anybody that talks. And I think that's another great thing about HOSA is that at conferences, we all get to meet and talk. And it's really exciting just to connect with your local chapters and hear what they have to say and what they want to see change in HOSA. And you're in that leadership position to change it. And so realizing that you're in such a special position, you need to listen, you need to be able to work with people, you need to be able to hear other people's opinions without getting offended or kind of feeling like they're attacking you, because not everybody has things nice to say about, let's say, FLCs, like the themes or the dances or anything that we do. And we all have gone through that as leaders. And I also think that it's important to make everybody know that they can be a leader, that they can do something to be a leader in HOSA. It's not just the state leaders, the international leaders, the local leaders. It's everybody, because without the chapter members, or just the members in general, we would not be an organization that's running like we are. So I think just knowing that your position is worthy, like you are worthy of your position, but also know that other people can also be in that position and you can still learn, still grow. And I think that's just a great thing as a leader to know.
Right. And like my favorite thing to say is that leaders also have to be followers. You have to be able to get on the same level with people.
Exactly.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so glad to have met you and just been able to learn from you. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to our HOSA members?
I would just like to say thank you guys so much for the opportunity. And if you guys are planning on going to the University of Arkansas, you can call me up and I will help you start coming to HOSA meetings once I get it set. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your conference, and I really enjoyed talking to you guys.